Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay, and welcome to the video series where we are building contact list API using ASP.NET Core 9 Web API and ChatGPT as our coding assistant. This is video number 4. In the previous video, video number 3, we worked on the possible entities. Those are required for our project, right? In this video, we will work on feeding some data and run our first migration, right, based on those entity that we created in the previous video. So let's move ahead, right? So for this I have prepared the prompt. I have also generated the response to save time, but I'll read out over here. In the previous response itself, ChatGPT suggested us that if you want to move ahead, then write this: let's create application DB context and configure relationship using Fluent API, right? So I did the same. Let's create application DB context and configure relationship using Fluent API. But I also wanted to have some more things, like I want to have two user at least feeded in when we run the migration, right? So I gave those two users details. Then I also let it know that we need to hash the password column. Let's have a dedicated class to hash the password, and later we will use the same class for encrypting and decrypting messages as well. And let's also run the first migration, right? And based with this prompt, ChatGPT has generated the response. So let me just quickly walk you through this, right? So first it is giving us the application DB context that we are supposed to create in data folder, right? Then we need to put down certain properties. So whatever we are writing db set over here, for those who don't know what db set is over here, right? Whatever number of entities we are writing as db set, declaring as db set over here, those will be ideally converted into a database table, into our database, right? And since we are also creating the relationship between them, relationship, and we are also adding constraint, right? So we are using Fluent API over here. So for every table, ChatGPT has given us one method that actually creates the relationship and uh, constraint on that table, right? So let me take you to the first one. It says configure user, right? So configure user, as we are taking email as unique, so it has taken as index. Email is unique, and it has one column is active, it should be always, by default it should be always one, and for inactive user it should be 0. Similar way, it has given another method, configure user contact, right? So here we are saying that one user can have many contacts, so it is saying that it has a user and a contact has a one to many relationship. Then user ID will be foreign key in user contact table, right? And then on delete cascade we have, that means if parent record is deleted, child all record will also be deleted, right? And it has a unique index of two columns, user ID and mobile. So basically, if we have added one contact into for one user ID, right, we are not supposed to add the duplicate of it. So basically, same user ID and same mobile number should not be added in our user contact table, right? So nice code generated by ChatGPT, very nice, neat and clean, right? Configure user group. Then the user group. So again, user group. User can have many groups. So user has one to many relationship between user and group. It has user ID as foreign key, and on delete again it is saying delete cascade. So basically, if we are deleting a user, or user group will also be deleted. Then user group contact. Okay, so this is a junction table. Junction table is something we call mapping table. So there, if there are two tables, and for them, if those two tables has the many to many relationships, then we will have to define that it via a separate table, right? So this is that table, user group contact, right? So here it says has index. The index is between user group ID and user contact ID, right? And it should be unique, and obviously, so in one group, in one group, there shouldn't be the same record again and again, right? So basically, one group have, if you have added one mobile number in one group, we cannot add the same mobile number again in the same group. This is what it is meant. Then the user group, right? So obviously, one contact belongs to at least one user group, right? But it can be, one contact can be part of multiple group also, so with many user contact group. Then has foreign key, obviously user group ID. Then with many, again user contact, the same thing, has foreign key, user contact id. Okay, so this is for group and this is for contact. Right? Similar three properties, has one, with many, and has foreign key. Right? Similar way, call history and message history are created. Right? And for password, since we have requested, the best practice is to always have a password in a separate class or maybe into a separate library sometime. Right? So it was given as a separate class called name security service .cs, right? And we'll be and we have instructed it that okay, you use this argon too, right? So it has given us the code to install this package first and then have this code into our service security class. Right? Then to seed data, it has given us the method seed data where we are putting down two records and we are using their security service dot hash password 111222. So these passwords are hashed and then stored into the database. Right. And then the run migration, add migration, initial create, excellent, update database. Okay. So after this much table will be created in our database, and at least user table should have two values in it. Right. So let's try to follow these steps and move ahead from there. Right. So I am on the first step, okay, at the correct place, right? So we will create this class. I'll go to Visual Studio. We'll go to data folder, right click, I would say add class. We will give it name as it is exactly. Then I'll come back again. Then I'll take this copy. We'll move ahead. I'll say Control A, Control V. Only thing I need to change is the contact. Here I have a little different name, contact list API. Contact API entities. Okay, so this is good. Okay, I think I missed the. Okay, now one by one we will have to put down all the methods over here. So let me do that in the background and come back. Okay, so I have created all those methods. I'll show you in the application db context class, right? So these all methods are created. Now one method is pending seed data because that requires a service class to be created in the service folder. So what I'll be doing, I'll say add, say class. We'll quickly take the name from there. Now okay, so before that actually we should install this package. So let me actually go ahead and install this package. Let me cancel this. We'll go to tools, NuGet package manager, NuGet package manager for solution, and then we will put down this name. There you go. Make sure you are into this browse tab, say search. Okay, so we have the package over here. Let's select this one. Let's select our project. What is the version? It has 13. Now this is okay. I don't think this is dependent on the framework, so let's take the latest and say install. Okay, uninstall button is enabled, so the package install. Make sure to click on save all button. Okay, now we will come back to our step and continue from there. Okay, so we need to create this class. This is the class is called security service. Okay, into the service folder. So I'll go to service folder, right click, add class, and let's add this. Copy the entire code, come back over here and say Control V, and this will be contact list API. So this is good now. It is good. Now let's have the seed method copied to our db contact class. Now this is done. Come over here. This one method was pending. So what we will be doing, we'll be putting it down over here. So our model, our FDB context class is ready, because now we have, so we are planning to create these many tables with this configuration, right? So the required code is done. Let's just build it once and see if there are any error or not. I'll say build and wait for it to build. Meanwhile, we can go to the steps and move ahead. So this is also done. Now step run the first migration. Okay, so we will be creating the first migration. Now for that, let me open the SSMS also, right? Because we will need SSMS to see whether the tables are created or not for that, right? So let's go to Visual Studio if it has built successfully or not. It is building. Wait for a while. So the project has built successfully, so no error after adding this many code. Right, so we are in good shape till now. Now let's move to the next step. And next step, it says add migration. Now before we do the add migration, let's make sure that our connection string and everything are properly placed. So let's go to app setting.json and check out our connection string. Okay, so we have placed the connection string in the app setting.json, which is good. This contact API DB should be generated, and once we run the migration, database should be generated with the name contact API DB, and we'll now we'll have to enable this, right? Because we need to make our project use this DB context and what we have created. And here actually we should either we can give the connection string change the connection string over here, or we can keep the connection string whatever we have in app setting transition. So let's do this only. Instead, I'll just go ahead and make the connection string name as default connection. So there we had con str. I'll just copy paste it the name, default connection over here, and just save it. Come back to program.cs and just right click and say resolve this error. So this should inherit from the project itself .data folder. Let it come up. Yeah, using context API .data. Yeah, actually it should be contact list API .data. Yeah, so there is a mismatch between the name of ChatGPT and my name. Mistake. It was my mistake only. I instructed ChatGPT to have something else. Right. So this is done. Now for this we'll have to import entity framework core. Yeah. So let's do that. Done. Okay. So now we are in good shape again. So connection string is in good shape. We have configured the project to use this DB context. Ultimately, that DB context will be using this as the connection string. Right. So let me build the project again and make sure it is building, and then we will move ahead and run for the migration. Meanwhile, I have logged into SSMS. Let me bring that over here, and we will see what existing database we have over here. Right. So we should not have context DB, contact API DB database already. If it is there, maybe I might have done some R&D. Then we'll change the name of the database into the connection string. So let's wait for a while. So let's see, we don't have something called context API DB, so we are good over here. We don't have any database with that name, right? And let's see if the project built successfully also. So now the next step is to run the migration command, right? So add migration initial create. Right, so let's go to tools, package manager. This time we'll open package manager console. So package manager console is up. Let me clear it up. So we will have just only our command. So let's say, okay, my bad. The command was not copied. No worries. It's simple. Add migration. Will give the same name what ChatGPT has given. Initial create. Okay, initial create. And let's say enter. and let's wait for a while. So migration was created successfully. So it has created the migration folder in our project. In that folder, it has created the file. Now, if we go through this file, it has list of tables created, over here: user, call histories, message histories, user contact. These are the tables it is going to create. These are the data it is going to feed in. Okay, so this looks good, nothing wrong. Let's now go ahead and update the database. So let's copy this command, update hyphen database. I'll come to Visual Studio package manager over here. I'll say Control V, and yeah, it started building. Yeah, let's wait for a while. And yeah, meanwhile, let me bring the SSMS also. We don't have context API DB over here, right? So CF1, CF2 channel DB, Creek DB. Okay, so ideally it should create context API DB over here. In that database, we should have the desired table in, and out of that, user table should have at least two records. So let's see if it is happening or not. Let me go to Visual Studio. Okay, we have an error. So let's see. This usually dynamic has data. An error method change each time it is built. Okay, it is usually caused by dynamic value in has data. Okay, a new migration and examine its content local cause. The replace dynamic call with a static hard code value. Okay, so let's ask ChatGPT only that I am having this error. Let's say what does ChatGPT has to say. Let's say what does it has to say. Let's see. Okay, so let's say it has come up with say that this is should not happen has foreign key itself, but because of dynamic values in hash data. Okay, the real culprit is these two math. Okay, let's say why this break CF core has password internally uses random general get by random sort. Okay, so every build produces a different hash is okay. Important teaching okay data okay, correct and professional way to recommended. Okay, you do this in a console app or temporary program.cs. Okay, console.write line. Mhm. Okay, and assume output example only. Okay, and then it is saying to put down this encrypted password over here hard codedly. Okay, why not to add anti patterns. Okay, okay, so let's try to solve this. Let's try what ChatGPT is saying. Right, wide breakdown. Right, okay, so important thing, correction. Best practice for learning project: pre-generate static password hashes once, then hard code them. Okay, temporary generate hashes one time in a console app or temporarily in program.cs or even in linkupad. Okay, example, run once. This is what we are supposed to run. So let's see, let's try to run this. So let me tell you what I did. As ChatGPT suggested, I put down this two line into the program.cs. I run the project, right? And if we observe the console, now we have these two text, right? These are, let me take these both into a notepad or something. So these are encrypted text for our password. So let me take these two into the notepad and from there we will use it. Okay, so let me bring the now this is for 111 and this is for 2222. So what it is saying, we'll have to copy this, come to our Visual Studio, stop our running program. Yeah, just remove this. Now we don't need this. We'll remove this. Save it. We'll come to here. and where we have seeding method, when we have the seed method, go up. Sorry, my bad. Where we have the application DB context over here, we will just put it down. We will not calculate this, and we'll just put down over here hard codedly. That's what it is suggesting us, right? And this, let's take the second one. Let's just save it, and let's now we will have to remove this migration, right? So let me close this. Let me remove the migration folder entirely, right? So we'll generate the migration from the beginning. Okay, so I have deleted the migration folder entirely. Let's go ahead and build once, whether it is building or not. Let's see. Okay, so after removing migration, we build the project. It is built successfully. Let's go ahead and, you know, let's say clear and try the migration again. So we'll say add migration initial create. Let's wait for a while. So it has generated the again migration folder. It has generated our C# file that has tables and all these. Let's just quickly review it. Okay, so this time these are the one which we had in, we have hard coded, right? So these are the same. So hopefully this time it should work. And yeah, let's go ahead and update the to database now. Update database. Let's wait for a while again. Yeah, it seems to be generating the required. No, we have one more error. Okay, introducing foreign key to table user context may got cyclist multiple cascade plus specified on no ac- delete on action, or update on no action, or modify foreign key consent. Okay, let's see what is the error. So here, while creating user context, it is okay. Primary key is ID, which is okay. Foreign key is user contact ID, user contact, which is also good. And another foreign key is group, user group ID, reference user groups. So on delete cascade. Okay, so I think what it is saying, we will delete this on delete cascade. We don't need it, right? Because it might result in circular dependency. That's what it is saying. So let's go ahead again, go to our DB context class, or maybe let's just put down this error to ChatGPT. What does it say? Let's go to ChatGPT. Error will say Control V. Let's push it and let's see what it has to say. Okay, so ChatGPT has generated the response. It is saying, if we read that, it is saying that this is something we are not supposed to have cascade on user groups and user contacts, right? So if we go down in user contact, group contact, configure user group contact method, we should have cascade over here. Rather than cascade, it says use restrict. So let's replace this method entirely for a safer side. I'll say copy, I'll come here. Which was that method? Configure user group contact. Okay, so configure user group contact. Okay, so let's replace this what we have new, right? Before that, let's see what was the existing one, right? Okay, configure user group contact. Configure user group contact. Yeah, okay. Configure user group contact. Okay. So, okay, so here we haven't specified the cascade. It says specify cascade with restrict option. So if the parent record is deleted, someone tries to delete the parent record, it will not allow to delete because we have child record already associated with it. That's what this relationship means. Right. So let me save this. Right. And let's go to our migration again. So let me delete the migration files. Let me delete the folder itself. It is also, we can use also remove migration command also, but that's okay. Right, okay. So let's write clear again here, and let's run the add migration initial create command, and let's see what's happened. Meanwhile, let's try to go through the response what it has given. Block delete, okay, prevents problem. Skill server sees two paths to user group context. User group context, user group context. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So basically, we had user in user group table, user group contact table. We have two foreign keys: user group and user contact. Right. And earlier configuration was if someone tries to delete user group, it will delete the data of user group contact table. And if someone tries to delete user group context, then also it will delete the user group contact data, right? So these two dependencies should not be there. That's what it is telling. If it is one, then it's okay, still okay, right? So we are restricting anyhow. We are not allowing delete. So let's see now. Let's go ahead. Okay, so this is done now. Now let's update the database and wait and watch. We don't have such dependency in another tables. And okay, it is going well. Finger crossed. Okay, so PM came up, so that means this is good now. It has updated the database, right? It ran successfully this time. So let's go ahead to SSMS and see if the database was created or not. Let me go ahead and right click and refresh. Sorry, I'll say over here, refresh, and wait for a while. Yeah, so now we can see the contact API DB. Let's say Control N. We'll open the new query window and we'll try to query the user table. Right, so we'll say use contact API DB. We are making sure that we are into the right database because I might have other database where we have this similar table. Users, let's say if we have that table. Excellent. We have the user table, we have the desired data in, we have that default generated password also. Let's try to expand this and try to see the other tables. So let's see. So we have user table, we have user groups, user contacts, contact group, user contact, message history, call history, and that EF migration table, right? So this table will have all the migration details, what we do so far, right? Currently we have only one migration, so it will have only one data, or maybe two, one the snapshot one and the one that we created. Okay, it says only one at initial create. Whatever migration we do, all migration entries will be over here, right? Or now let's try to query some more table. Let's say user group. So we don't have anything. Excellent, right? Because we put down data for only user table only. Let me put down couple of these and let's try to see what do we have it over here. We don't have anything. Excellent. And let's say we have user contacts. We don't have anything. Okay. Call history, we don't have anything. And let's say Control V. last one, message history also, and we don't anything over here also, right? But let's try to check, the columns. Let's try to see what it has created. So for user, it has ID, name, email, mobile, password with nvarchar text. Everything is nvarchar, which is ideally is not a good practice. Ideally, we should specify exactly what amount of data we need to put down and what data type should be. Ideally, if we are building this application for a worldwide use, then name should be nvarchar, right? Because it can you have Japanese name, Chinese name, French name, add English name, Hindi name, everything. But if we are planning to have only in India and we are planning to have, you know to this only in English, then this should be varchar, not nvarchar, right? Just a few database concept. And then let's say keys. Okay, we have users key, right? ID would be pk ideally. Let's say if it has created indexes also, right? So it has created index also. So unique key on email and uh, primary key, cluster index on ID, right? So see, we haven't touched database, we haven't created anything, only two commands that took care of everything: creating the database, corresponding their relationship, building keys, building indexes. Everything was taken care by the migration itself, right? So that's the beauty of entity framework core first approach. We will do everything in the C sharp only. Ultimately it will be translated into the database, right? So let's move to the next step. What do we have over here next? We'll have to go a little up. Right, okay, verify the database. We did this. Okay, excellent. Now next logical step. Okay, we'll work on the register and login API. Okay, we'll start with that. But at this moment, we are done with our project configuration. We are done with our first migration also, because database is also created and tables are also created, right? So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. In the next video, now from the next video we'll start working on actual APIs, building APIs with best practices, right? So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.